Hi, everybody. This is our week 6, and I wanted to take a minute to thank you for your patience with my family's health issues. And we're getting on, diving into now your writing assignments for the rest of the quarter. It's going to pick up, the pace is going to pick up. So I want you to make sure that you keep posting your stuff to your blog so you're not scrambling at the end of the quarter. And it's just good to keep updating it. You can also edit your stuff on your blog if you like, and it'll be a really great end a portfolio for you. Now, the things we're talking about this week, you have your feature stories due, the first part. So it's going to be a paragraph is going to suffice, maybe up to 3 paragraphs, but I didn't want any more than 150 words because the whole idea of this exercise is for you to hook us as a reader, right? As readers. So try your best to just give us that intro to your story that will make us want to read more. Okay, and you guys did really great on those news stories. I did give feedback this week on your critiques that you turned in for your classmates. I recorded my responses for you, and so please look that up on your grades, because then you can click on the recording and hear my responses instead of my writing them out. But I did want to mention a couple of things. In this week's announcement, I did point out some writing tips so that you've already done your news story, you've critiqued other people's writing, and before you dive into your feature stories and complete them, you want to make sure that you follow these. So I'm going to read them right off my screen. Use the AP Style Book for technical points, from commas to numbers, dates, and percentages. Watch your grammar and punctuation and spelling throughout. Double check your work, because there's nothing more distracting than a lot of typos or anything like that. Grammar, and I put more emphasis on content in this class, but you have to know that, as a professional writer, you're going to have to be aware of the way you use grammar and punctuation. For quotes, punctuation goes inside the quotation marks. Work on titles. Some of you did not provide a title for your work. Every piece of work should have a title, at least a working title. And think about strong words to use, just as you do in your story, right? Strong words to use. So you want to hook the readers even with your title, and it should be SEO strong. Use relevant quotes. Okay, so sometimes we get to interview people and they go on, we think they have a great quote, they've provided us a great quote, and in the end it doesn't really fit with what we're writing or the angle that we're taking. Better to not use a quote than to use something that is irrelevant, right? Or that is too long. So you can cut down quotes that are too long to fit with that angle of your story, but please don't use them just because, oh, that was my source and that was a quote. They're not always great if they're used out of context or not in alignment with your storyline. Write to your assigned word length, and do not insert yourself in the story. I know that some of the profiles that you read and some of the other stories that you've read have the first person point of view in there. The writer actually inserts himself or herself into the story. But we want to start out fresh for your feature story assignment, right? I would like you to write in third person and get into that practice first. And as you go on and develop your own skills and become comfortable with your style, then you can, play with that, the way you approach your structure of your story. And that might include first person to insert yourself in there. But for now, keep it nice and clean and neat and, just on target, and write about that person or event or whatever you're going to be writing. The other question that came up that I want to make sure I address is about sentence length. And, in our textbook and everything, news stories, for sure, they're going to promote shorter sentences. It's just like fact, 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 fact. And you want to keep the pace quick, and shorter sentences provide a quicker pace for the story. However, there's as you saw in many of the stories, there are long sentences that are used, and these are for feature stories. I always see this as a chance to explore your writing style in feature stories. So a good variety of short and long sentences is fine. Sometimes, I'm thinking of Francisco right now. His writing is very poetic with the longer sentences. So just think about that. If you're more comfortable with longer sentences, great, but you have to just make sure that it is clear, the sentence is clear to your reader, and goes somewhere. It's very purposeful, okay? So don't just make a long sentence just to fill in space or word count. Make it very purposeful. As we know by now, every word counts, your word choice, every sentence, transitions, all are important. So I will leave you with that, and I'm hoping that you come up with some exciting ideas and stories. I'm looking forward to reading them. We'll see you on the discussion board this week, okay? Have a great week.